Hi and welcome to Angling For You. Today you join me at the wonderful Oaks Lakes in Sessay. I'm going to just go for a couple of hours session today. And obviously there's not a lot of better other times to come than really when it's been a hot day and it's the end of the day. So I'm hoping that we'll do something damage down the edge. Now the reason this brings me onto is a bit of a test today for you guys, and it is with the Red Range Margin 8-meter pole. Now obviously we've all got the expensive poles and we spend a lot of money on poles, and I do get asked from guys for sort of budget price things that we could go into. That's not, we're not talking Avanti, but we're talking sort of good quality brands, but you know, straight in at the lower end of the price bracket. And like I say, it is a margin pole and we'll go into it, but it can be used for other things as well. You can fish for silvers, you can fish for other small carp, other fish with lighter elastics. But you know, main reason is people give out these margin poles is to not ruin the bigger and better poles and catch these big fish down the edge. So the pole itself, it does come with a bag which is off camera, just to fit everything in, a main tube and a couple of other tubes for the top kits. The two top kits obviously are power ones with the Drennan side roller slot. This one's just got, I've just bought this as is, so it's already been elasticated, which I'll be taking these back to Dacron's, but it's got a sort of a light sort of 10 size hollow in there, and then this one's a bit more beefier, sort of a 16 again on the roller. Which I will change at some point, and then obviously this fits together with another 3 sections. It's not obviously the lightest pole in the world, of course it's not, because you know it's a margin pole, so it's for dragging lumps out the edge. But again, like we said, it's in this low bracket. It's about 100 pounds ish, depending where you get it from. I got this one for 89 quid off eBay, brand new. It just literally elasticated it and done nothing with it. So there's deals out there, and especially through the summer, getting these sort of margin poles for down the edge fishing. You know, it's what's 100 quid, but again, like I said, it's good as a starter pole for kids or people that just want to try pole fishing out. And obviously a good brand, reliable with Drennan. I fished with it once, not down the edge, just literally with my daughter as a little bit of a light small carp in, and it handled it fine. It's fine at full length, but obviously it's not as responsive as sort of your bigger poles. So what we'll do is we'll get it all put together, we'll get a rig on it, and we'll see if we can get anything out of the edge. As you can see, not my favourite connectors, having these sort of normal ones on there. I do prefer to have the Dacrons, just a bit for better feel, but hey ho. So we've got a little sort of margin style 0.2 chimp float. That's just running, all I'm doing is running at 0.17 all the way through to a hook link of 0.15, and a single shot down the line down to a size 12, that is. And the reason I'm using such a big hook is that we are going to have a little go with this this paste. Fortunately, I normally use green swim stem and marine halibut, but the bait shop is shut as it's later on in the day, so I've got some of a collaboration of what I've got in my bag, which is a bit of sticky method that you can add to pellets, and a little tiny bit of marine halibut, which I had at the bottom of my bag. So that being said, we'll see how that goes. So I've just put a couple of handful of pellets in. What I do say is when you try and fish margins, try and fish 3 places at least. So I've got one down to my right, I've got one in front of me to my left, and I've got one far to my left, which will alternate and just feed. All I've fed is with hard fours, fishery owned hard fours. Really simple, really. When I'm sure you've heard me mention it before, when you do paste fish, you're looking to pull that hook straight through the paste, so it wants to be a good firm upward strike, straight through the paste like that, straight through the paste and straight in to the fish. As you can see, the margin pole's doing its job, bending away there and cushioning that run. And this is why we have these poles, for this exact reason, that you don't want to to rag about those more expensive poles, and these things are strong. As you can see, it's absorbed the run straight away. And that fish, and obviously it's a perfect example there of catching straight away, which is why, to be honest, why I anticipated at this time of day. With it being warm all day, I expected to get quite an early sign. Don't think it's anything too massive, but certainly angry. And just foul looked itself, that's why. But again, a fish is a fish, and they are there. So, oh, it's a barbel. That's why it's pulling so hard. If we can get it in. That's a good start, even though it is foul looked. I'll take a barbel any day of the week. Let's have a look where that hook is. Just in the tail, and that's probably due to being a lot of food, a lot of fish competing for that food, and it's gone straight in for that food, and tails are obviously gone over it. I'll try and pick him up for you, but as I'm sure a lot of you know, barbel are not the easiest fish to handle, and it's a beautiful first fish of the day. And to be honest, I catch a barbel in any situation, and that's only sort of a couple of pound, but always fun to catch. That is for sure. Let's get him back. But that just shows you straight away there the power of the margin pole. You know, hooked in the tail of all things, and of all things to be a barbel, doesn't always end well if you've got a bit more expensive pole, or you know, it could have certainly taken us through those reeds and into a lot worse situation. So that's obviously the benefit of having these poles, which is we don't like fouling hooking them, but for show purposes that worked out pretty well. So again, we're just going to put that little bit of paste on, and get that other section on there. And you see with a lot of margin poles, a lot more of them sort of bend around the tip. Seems to bend a little bit more, and that's obviously there's more flex in the tip, and there's a lot more sort of action put through the pole, with it being obviously shorter and slightly beefed up with the side walls. Oh, and that went straight under again. That was a quick bite. So there's definitely fish there, which is the positive part. It's a better fish, and that just shows you how close to come in. See the margin pole, top section on there, strong elastic. I managed to turn this fish, and he's a good boy, like he's a good fish. It's a good old fish, and that's just right from under his feet. Managed to turn him straight out of those. And that's just shows the power that, there we go, and he's in the net. It shows the power that you get in these margin poles. If that had been on the top kit on my main pole, yeah, would have got the fish probably, but it took a lot longer, and it'd have been a lot more chance of losing him. But that allowed us to fish literally under his feet. Yeah, he's not a huge fish, you know, sort of 3 poundish, 3.5 maybe, but it's as you all know that fish often, the smaller fish are usually the most difficult, sort of from the 3, even 2 to the sort of 6 pound, 7 pound mark. They go off like an absolute steam train when they're hooked, and you always know you've got a sort of a fish around that size. Problem about this time of year, just no end of flies. And there's another fish who doesn't know quite where it's going at the moment because it's shallow, but again the pole is controlled. It's not a big fish, look like an F1. Plenty of control there. Don't even need to use the puller kit on it. It's a strong elastic, this one. I'm in quite a close confines in regards to bushes of either side of me. No worries about the strength of the pole. As long as you match your lines with your elastics, you'll be fine. There we go. That's not left one. Still going bananas in the net. Beautifully lip hooked. Perfectly hooked in the lip. Try and hold him up for you. But he's pretty, still plenty of go on him. There we go. Again, a nice little fish. These are all sort of weight building fish that, you know, when you fish these menus and you get them going and you're catching them sort of on a regular basis, this is when you start to put those sort of silly kind of daft weights together. I think the one on the match syndicate from these lakes of Oaks last week, and about 420 pound or something like that won it. It's absolute crazy numbers. What we'll do before we do that is we'll sort of put it together at full length, and that'll allow you to see what it looks like at full length. I'll just get the 8 metre section, and it is the thing is with this Red Range one, it is a true 8 metres, so everything's cut ready, and it is a true 8 metres. So there you go, that's 8 metres out. Now as you can see, you know, it's light, you can lift it one-handed, but I mean, yeah, there is a bit of bounce, but not too bad if I'm honest. I was flicking it over, like I said earlier on, the other day with my daughter fishing shallow, and you know, it was fine, and it's easily comfortable to hold, as you'd expect, at 8 metres, and to flick pellets out. I've got another sort of fish there. Just doesn't want it. Well, they're not very interested at the moment. I think a lot of it's to do with the mugging. Is a lot of oxygen needs to be in the water, and we haven't got that at the moment. With obviously all the rain that all the sun that we've been having, it's not put off. We need some rain. Really will help out the fishing. A good rainstorm, fishing a day after that, I think it'd be pretty epic. So what I'll do is, like I was saying to you before, just change around those positions. We'll try and have another fish. This is an angry fish. But again, might be another barbel. But he just showed you this margin pole is getting absolutely hammered, and it's just taking it absolutely offhand that then. And it's just absolutely taking it with no cares in the world. I do think this is another barbel. Fighting like a barbel. But it's not, it's a carp. So it's an angry carp, that's for sure. Nice fish. But we see we've just tamed that, and that went for it, did that. Absolutely went for it. And you know, that just perfectly hooked as well inside the lip. Perfectly hooked. It's inside the lip. Just get that hook out. There we go. And another nice stamp fish. Very, very fit. And very, very angry. That's for sure. So, in conclusion, I hope that's helped you out a little bit. I know I tend to waffle on a little bit, but I'm just trying to give a little bit of information to the people that don't want to spend as much. I know we all like to do the tackle reviews with the nice gear and sort of, you know, the sort of expensive stuff. Of course we do, but you know, not everybody can afford it, and not everybody wants to pay it for a start. They don't maybe not go enough or the beginning. But I mean, my experience is, I would not say it's the best margin pole I've ever fished with, because, you know, I think the Beastmaster's better, and for an extra 50 quid, that's probably what I would go for. But you know, it's super strong. You know, it's going to handle pretty much anything you can hook, if you match it with the right elastics and the right hook link and main line, and sort of put all that balanced, and it'll handle nearly everything that you've got. You've seen it, even though the fish have not been much bigger than 5 pound, of the scrappers and the pull you through reeds and the rag you out, and you know, that last one, that were only on a top 2 plus 1, and it you know, it's right up sort of 16 metres out, ragging your arm off, and you know, there's no worries with it whatsoever. You just sort of sink the tip up and wait for it to come back, which it did do, and it were in the net within sort of 30 seconds, and that's a good reason of having them. So thanks a lot for the support as always. I know this year's not been as manic for content, and I do apologise for that, and it's I can't always do it with work, so you know, that has to take paramount, but I am trying to get them as frequently as I can. So yeah, thanks a lot. Join us on the Facebook group, Angling For You, and on the Instagram at angling_for_you. Like and subscribe, share with your friends if you could. Thanks a lot. Tight lines.